Well, it's finally here. One of the most anticipated cars of 2018, the Mercedes-Benz X-Class Ute. Now, full-size pickups with a lot of gear on board are all the rage these days, proving extremely popular across the range. Mercedes is joining the fray with a car that uses the same engine and chassis as the Nissan Navara. Is it the real deal? It's time to find out.
A diesel ute wearing Mercedes badges. How did we get here? The short answer is that Mercedes' Vans division needed a car with global appeal, so it partnered up with Nissan to build a pickup based on the Navara ute. That's the elephant in the room here. This Mercedes uses a Nissan chassis and Nissan engine for a much higher price than the humble Navara. The range-topping X250d model tested here is officially priced from $61,600 plus on-road costs, though our test example sits much closer to $75,000. For that money, you get state-of-the-art safety features you won't find in any other ute, along with a unique body, luxurious interior and reworked suspension compared to the Navara. Power comes from Nissan's 2.3-litre twin-turbo diesel 4-cylinder engine, which produces 140 kilowatts and 450 newton meters, sending power to all four wheels through a 7-speed automatic transmission or 6-speed manual gearbox.
When you step inside the X-Class, it looks like a Mercedes. There's a lovely leather steering wheel with a Mercedes badge right in the middle of it. You've got the same sort of touchpad you'll find on an E-Class or a C-Class sedan, and some nice aluminium look textures and leather look trim as well. Doesn't stack up quite so well though when you start to touch and feel things. This metal look trim is plastic. It's plastic again here, and some of the leather in the cabin is Artico or artificial cow. But the X-Class hits its stride on the open road. It's a very quiet car. We're hooking along here at more than 60 k's an hour, and there's very little wind or road noise coming through the cabin. You couldn't say that about a lot of its competitors. Is this the most refined car in its class? It could be. You'd have to drive them back to back to find out, but to my ears right now, this may be the most quiet ute on sale. Definitely a strong point. What isn't a strong point is the engine. It's a 4-cylinder unit that's shared with Nissan, and it has okay levels of punch, but it doesn't really offer the kind of grunt and wallop that people might expect from a ute that costs, in this trim, nearly 80 grand on the road. For me, I'd be wanting the V6 model, which isn't on sale in Australia yet. Along with the engine, Nissan has provided the base chassis for this car, which has been comprehensively reworked by Mercedes to suit its own specifications. Biggest change is in the steering. I've always had a problem with the steering in the new Navara, which has been quite slow and requiring a fair bit of effort around town. Not the case with the X-Class. It steers almost like a sedan. We were on some twisty roads in Tasmania earlier, and I could keep my hands at 9 and 3 and never have to move them around the wheel. It's not like the old school utes where you'd have to shuffle your hands around the wheel. You can steer it like a sports car. That's brilliant. Another really important factor for the X-Class is its safety suite. Now, this is the only ute right now that you can buy with autonomous emergency braking as standard, or even with AEB on the car at all. That is brilliant to see, and that's the sort of thing that we expected to find from Mercedes when it came in to tackle this new segment. We've driven the car on a variety of surfaces, and unfortunately I haven't had a chance to try it with a load in the tray today. My impressions of the car unladen is that the rear can be a little nervous and jiggly without something in the back to sort of settle it down a bit. To me, it feels a little more composed than the Navara, but perhaps not quite as road-like as something like the Volkswagen Amarok, which is really a segment leader in some of those classes. On the whole, Mercedes has done a great job with the X-Class, particularly when you consider what it started with, the bones of a Nissan Navara and a Nissan Navara engine. They've imbued some Mercedes traits into this car, polishing it, making it more refined and luxurious, and just generally a better thing to drive. However, I'm a little less convinced of this car for the price. The car that we're driving right now costs more than $75,000 plus on-road costs, so more than 80 grand in the traffic. And for that, I think I want more than fake leather and fake metal and a 4-cylinder engine. I want the genuine Mercedes deal, and that's coming a little bit later on with a full-fat V6 powered X-Class, which will arrive in Australia at the end of 2018. That's the one I'm keen to see.
More comfortable and refined than mainstream rivals, the new X-Class pushes pickups into new territory. But it doesn't reinvent the wheel, and we're not sure about spending so much money on a Mercedes-badged machine with a humble Nissan engine. The proper V6 model due later this year sounds like it might come closer to delivering Mercedes' promise of the ultimate pickup. Until then, the X250d is on sale now.